Hey y'all, so this is a real quick video for vocabulary, just another one to assist with Friday's lessons vocabulary. So make sure that you have pen and pencil, something to write with. So Module 6 vocabulary with our quadratic functions. We have vocabulary words here. We have parent function, parabola, vertex, and y-intercept in their definitions. The original form of a quadratic function that forms a parabola, that is called our parent function. It has the equation y equals x squared. Then the shape that it makes is a parabola. It's a U-shaped graph created by the quadratic function, which we'll see in a second. We have vertex, which is the highest or lowest point on the graph. It's also known as the minimum or the maximum. And then we have our y-intercept. We're familiar with that vocabulary word where the line of the graph crosses the y-axis. Next, we have x-intercept. We've seen this vocabulary word before. X-intercept, opposite of y-intercept, is where the line crosses the y-axis. But this also has three synonyms, words that might be interchanged: zeros, roots, and solutions. Okay, so you need to remember those three words that associate with x-intercept. Then we have our minimum, which is our lowest point on the graph when we're talking about our y value. We have our maximum, which is our highest point on the graph, which is our y value as well, and those are also known as your vertex. Then we have the axis of symmetry. It's the imaginary vertical line that splits the parabola in two, splits our U-shaped graph in two. It does have an equation, which is x equals, because it is a vertical line and goes up and down. X equals, and we'll see this again as well. Make sure you copy down these vocabulary words before the next slide so that you have something to reference. All right, so here we have graph two parabolas. We have our parent function, which is y equals x squared, okay? That function is graphed here. Is our parent. Basically, it is the birth equation for all of our other quadratic equations, and this is how it looks. When it talks about end behavior, it's talking about the arrows at the end. Our parabola opens up, meaning our y values are increasing. Okay, this is also a positive parabola because, again, our y values are increasing, and there is an imaginary 1 in front of our x squared. The flip of that would be y equals negative x squared, so it's going to flip our parabola upside down. Therefore, it's going to be opening down, and that is going to be our end behavior, and then we're going to call this a negative parabola. Make sure you sketch that out. So here I'm just going to compile what those key features would look like on a parabola all together. I labeled them A, B, C, D, and E, and F for you to be able to identify those. I've labeled the X and Y axis in green to identify which is which. So A is pointing at the direction of my parabola, so this parabola opens up. Kind of playing I Spy with this example. B is that imaginary dash line that goes through the middle. This is called our axis of symmetry. You might also see it written as line of symmetry. Same thing. Letter C, okay, that's where we have here. We have our x-intercept because it's crossing our x-axis. And we also have those three other names that it goes by: zeros, roots, and solutions. Sorry if I can't write that other way. Cool. D, see, that is on our y-axis, so that is our y-intercept. E, okay, yes, it looks like it's on our axis of symmetry, but this is our lowest point on the graph. So not only is that our vertex, it is also our minimum. And I think that's what I meant to put as F. Oops. There we go. These are also the same for the inverse of the negative parabola. Only thing that would be different would be the orientation of how it opens, which would be open down, and our vertex would have a maximum. So here my A would be opens down. My B would be, this is called my vertex, but because it is called the high point, it is my maximum. So now you have a virtual pop quiz testing what you learned from the practice in the previous about our vocabulary. So here, get out a sheet of paper, which you should already have out. Match the correct vocabulary to its right definition. So you have 1 through 10. You have A all the way to CD. Make sure you write both letters. Then we have an I Spy. So identify as many key features from the graph. There are 8 things that you can spy. 8 things. So pause, take your time, write out those 8 things. Make sure you're specific. If you say it is the y-intercept, also give the ordered pair of the y-intercept. Okay? Alright, now that you have completed this practice, here are your answers. Checking over your answers, making sure that you got them correct. If there was a definition that you messed up on, go back and write the definition down and memorize it, study it. I Spy, if you didn't understand why that key feature was there, go back, look at the graph, understand why it is there and why you missed it. Now, quick vocabulary exit ticket, 4 questions. Using the graph here to the left, answer questions 11, 12, 13, and 14. Again, on that separate sheet of paper, just so you can have it for your knowledge. Awesome job. Hope you were successful on that exit ticket and this vocabulary practice. Now we're going to move on to some questions in our next video. So go back to the original slideshow and press next.